So in closing, probably let's do what we needed to do when we got started, and probably just introduce yourself, and then,
we waited to the end. My name is Khrys Monet. I am a single mom who likes to have a lot of fun while struggling through the challenges of single parents. I try to be honest with my viewers. I respond to all of my YouTube comments, the most honest and realistic answer that I can provide. I pay all my own bills. I'm independent. I don't receive a lot of help, but we make the best of it. Motherhood can be a lot of fun. Single parenting can be a lot of fun. I want people to know that.
Good evening, good morning, good dawning, good afternoon. I don't know where you are, but whichever place you are, I hope you're happy. I hope stuff is starting to work, or it's working already. Today, as my guest, you've heard we're doing stuff in reverse. Today, we just started with an introduction that we recorded at the end of the conversation. Sounds a bit confusing. This is Conversation with Daniel Duwa. Welcome to the show. And this conversation reminds me of when I was starting out as, I think I was a really, really small child, about 2 decades ago. I'd gotten my poems published in some international publications, and I was trying to write. I'd done a couple of international artist profiles and that kind of thing. Then one of the interviews I really, really wanted was a guy called Tejo Said. He just changed the Kenyan music scene. I had tried to get an interview for about 200 days. One time I just catch a break, go to his studio. He had about probably half an hour, and he just sat me in his kitchen. I did the interview there. This was the very first time I ever did an interview like that, because most of the time I was in boardrooms, the chairman and the communication people, and there were like 4 or 5 people in the room. This was totally relaxed, and I was like, you can tell stories that way. So again, Conversation with Daniel Duwa here. Khrys Monet, a conversation that we just finished doing as she made breakfast for her son in the morning. This conversation is going to be really exciting. I don't want to preamble too much. Let's just get to it right now. You are on Conversation with Daniel Duwa. My name is Daniel Duwa, clearly, and I hope you enjoy. This is going to be one of those beautiful conversations, touches everything. Let's get to it right now.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you well.
Great. Hi, how are you this morning?
I'm very fine. How are you doing?
Great. This is really afternoon for you, but it's early here.
Yes, it is. Thanks for joining me. How's your day started?
So good so far. So typically in the mornings, I get up and cook my son breakfast, and then the kids here are doing school online. So I have to log him in onto his iPad and get him set up for school. I'm just doing that now, cooking breakfast and getting him ready for school.
That's the same thing we do here. Kids are schooling online, so it's been hectic for everybody, but it's how it is so far. So,
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But this should be very different for you, is it not? Such mornings.
It is. It is. You mean like the routine? Yes, because normally I would be dropping him off at school and then coming home to either, get as much done as possible before I pick him up. It's like a game of beat the clock.
Very weird times. I mean, last year, if you told me this would have happened, it's crazy. It's totally insane.
Right. This is recording video too, correct?
No, we don't need video.
Okay, it's just the sound.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I look a mess. I don't want you.
You look awesome, if I say so myself.
Thank you.
Yeah. So what are you making for breakfast?
Just sausages and eggs, because it's really easy to make. It's just something really easy to make, and, it's quick. So I don't have to spend all day in the kitchen. Sausages and eggs or cereal or just, something I can throw together pretty quickly.
I grew up a bit differently. I love cooking, so I feel like I grew up in a household where we didn't have boys and girls. We just had kids, and so you picked a task and you did that. So in the morning you'd bake or cook or whatever, so there's that.
Okay.
Before the pandemic, what were you doing?
Oh, just going to work, taking care of my son. I don't do a whole lot. As you know, I love to travel, so we do that. That's what I do for fun. But all I was doing was working, taking him back and forth to school, doing the typical mom thing. That was it. I mean, life was a little bit different. Like, if they have a lot of festivals here during the summer, so we would go to stuff like that. We would, Me and my son, we hang out a lot. The only thing that's changed is that we can't really go too many places right now. We can't go anywhere. So because I'm stuck in the house, I mean, I spend a lot more money on Amazon, but I would like to not do that.
Where did you get the travel bug? How did you start traveling?
My family has always traveled. My grandmother used to take me to Barbados every year, which at the time was a lot, to leave the country once every summer. That was a big thing for me. But I always wanted to do it more. And as I got older, I felt like traveling was important, right? I have a 7-year-old son. The area that we live in, the neighborhood is not a fantastic neighborhood. So I wanted to show him bigger things. I wanted him to know that the world is huge and you don't have to live and die in your backyard, right? So I wanted him to get out and see positive things and not think that all of the crime and all of the hanging out on the street is like a cool thing. I wanted him to know, bigger than his city. So I went and I got a job with an airline, with a major airline. And by me being a single mom, I don't have a lot of money. Like, we don't have money to travel. A lot of the times it's a lot for me to get the money together, even though we have flight benefits and we can fly different places for an extremely discounted rate. You know what I mean? Even just to get the money to do that, because even without paying for flights or paying for them at a discounted rate, hotels still cost money, right? The food still costs money. By my baby being 7 years old, he still wants souvenirs. He wants to buy things when we're in other countries. And I don't want my answer to always be no, because we don't have the money, right? So sometimes it's still costly for me to travel, but as a single mom on a lower income who sometimes I get child support, sometimes I don't. The only way for us to experience the world was for me to work for an airline. That was my only option. That was kind of the start, is when I got the job for the airline. That was the start of it all. But my family, as a little girl, we traveled. That was just something that we did. I think I got my first passport when I was 2 years old. My son didn't get his passport until he was 5, so I'm a little late. But my first passport when I was 2.
At 2 years old, where did you go? Where did you guys travel to? What in those early days?
The only place that we went was not the Bahamas, to Barbados. That was the only place that we went. It was a lot better than Baltimore City, I tell you that. The air it smells different when you get off the plane. You can smell the salt in the air. You smell the salt water in the air. It's a lot different from smelling stinky bus fumes and, fumes from construction trucks or school buses. You know what I mean? It's way different.
Well, before we go on, there's a perception that if you work for an airline, you make a lot of money and there's this prestige and the lifestyle, and people aspire to that. Exactly. So you're saying that's not exactly true?
No. Well, no. You can make a lot of money with the airline. Don't get me wrong. You can make a ton of money with the airline. It's just that you have to be there for a while. Airlines pulling you in straight off the street and you've only been there for 1 or 2 years or anything less than 5 years, you're not making a lot of money. I made double my salary at my last job, and I was doing in healthcare administration. That's what I've been doing the last 10 years. And I made double my salary. If I wanted to make more, I could make more. But I made a sacrifice to make half of my salary. So you can imagine with COVID, it's cut the half of my salary down to like half of that. Yeah, it's gotten even worse. But I would rather get a second job. I'm not willing to sacrifice my flight benefits because they mean so much to me. I don't know what I would do if I couldn't travel.
So you walked away from an administration job to get into airline?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's a really bold step.
Yep.
And also being a single mom, that's a really bold step.
Right.
Where did you get the strength from?
Yeah, but that's how important it is. What I know is that I'm not a weak woman, right? I know that when things get rough, I'm not going to roll over and cry in a corner. I might cry in a corner one day. I'll give myself a day to cry in a corner. But because I have a kid, I have to like find the strength to keep moving, because if I don't, he won't eat. He won't have a place to live. He won't enjoy life. He won't have a quality of life that I want him to have if his mother is miserable. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
I always have to keep going. So I know that even though I'm making half the money and even half of that now with the pandemic, I know that I'm pretty tough. I'm not the toughest woman in the world. I'm still a punk. I still cry. I still get weak moments. But I know that, like, for instance, I'm looking for a second job now. I'll work another job, right? No other job, no amount of money. Unless I'm a millionaire, I can't get up and fly all over the world if I feel like it today or tomorrow, you know? So I'm not going to give up my airline job for anything. I don't care if they were paying me $10 to come in twice a week. I would still keep it, because no other job and no amount of money is going to equal out to what I'm getting from that job, from the airline job.
So going to what exactly are you getting from the airline job that you're not getting in any other place, let's say?
Just the flight benefits, that's it.
What are these flight benefits?
The option to wake up on a off day and say, hey, I feel like going to Aruba today. Or I feel like flying down to South America today. Or, for instance, my birthday is coming up. I want to go to Africa.
Yeah, you should come.
Go to Senegal.
You should come.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, by the way.
I was going to plan a trip to Senegal. And, you know, I've been doing my research and trying to figure out the best way for me to get there. Funds are really tight, so I'm not 100% sure I want to do that, because my birthday's in November. So I don't know. It depends on what my finances look like by the time my birthday comes, honestly. So if things work out kind of okay, then I'm going to plan a trip there. I can't do that working anywhere else. Where else am I going to be able to do that? Unless, like I said, I'm a rich person and I just can buy plane tickets whenever I feel like it. I can't afford to do that.
But even rich people don't fly all over the place because they have work and life responsibilities and things.
Yes, that too.
Yeah.
That too. So the good thing about the pandemic is that my baby is doing school online, right?
Yeah.
By him doing school online, all we need is Wi-Fi.
Yeah, true.
And we can do school anywhere. For somebody like me, that's great.
One important thing is, in the pandemic, how do you travel? Because you're coming from two sides. You're in the airline itself, but then you're also a mom traveling with your son. What's the one-on-one of traveling in the pandemic time?
It's a lot harder. They're doing a lot of social distancing. We have to, of course, wear our masks. We have to sanitize. And because my son and I fly so often, I've definitely trained him. So he knows without me even having to say, we need to sanitize. We have to wipe down. We carry wipes. But, you know, even before the pandemic, the plane is pretty nasty. You know that the plane, it's germy. You know, people don't wash their hands and people are disgusting. But so we were wiping down and sanitizing like crazy people anyway. The only difference is that we weren't wearing masks to do it. We just taking the necessary precautions. But what I don't want to happen is that it stops our life completely. It's already put a hold on the majority of our life. I don't want to lose that, the traveling, you know? So we just take the necessary precautions. That's it. And I have, a lot of people are traveling with their kids. Like, people are still not as much, but I see a lot of parents in the airport with their babies, their kids. They have family members in other places. You know, you can't keep people away from their loved ones, but for so long.
But if the what we see in the news is to be believed, I mean, it feels like the airports have been shut down, nothing's working. What has stayed the same and what has changed for you on a daily basis?
I can't even think of what has stayed the same. Oh, God. I don't think anything. I can't even remember, because everything has changed. My pay has changed. My traveling has changed, right? I'm limited. I'm limited on where I can go. I can't go to London or Europe right now. I can't go wherever I want to go right now. I don't know. My son's schooling has changed. Nothing has stayed the same. I mean, I can't think of anything that's still the same. The bills are still the same.
Obviously.
The bills are definitely still the same. That's about it. The
Yeah.
bills are the same. Nothing has decreased. I think here in Maryland, where I live, eviction prevention has expired, so people are getting evicted. I thank God it's not me yet, but people are losing their homes. I mean, I don't know. Nothing has stayed the same. The rent still increases. I mean, nothing has stayed the same. Everything has changed. Going to the store is a pain. You know, all these months that the pandemic has been going on, I still forget my mask in the car. Like, I have to keep one in the car, but I still get out and forget that there's the pandemic and will walk to the store, and then I get to the door and I'm like, oh, my mask is in the car. You know, so I don't think anything has stayed the same. It's really sad. And here, I don't know about where you are, but here the racism has changed, right? Against people of color. And I don't want to say just black people, because Mexicans experience racism just like black people here. But that has gotten worse, a lot worse. So that's another thing that has changed. It's worse now.
What do you think is making it worse?
You know, I don't wanna demean or undermine anybody else's decision in politics, because a lot of people have reasons for voting who they want to vote for. But I do think that in this climate, the racism has been gaslit, and here they call that like adding fuel to the fire, right? There was already a racial issue in this country, but now certain people have poured gasoline on that fire and have turned that small fire into a explosion, and people are dying from it. What I'll say is that I'm raising a black son, a chocolate little boy who, if I'm basing this off of his genetics, he's going to be a pretty big boy, a pretty big chocolate boy one day, right? He's going to be tall and maybe 200 pounds walking around. I'm afraid for my son. I was running to work. I'll tell you this. I was running to work about a week ago because, you know, my son will not wake up. I'm literally sticking a sausage in his mouth and he won't wake up. I was running to work and I was like, I don't know. Oh my God. I was like maybe 4 minutes from being late. Okay. I'm never late, ever. Great attendance record. And I try to, you know, keep hold to that, because if I ever want a promotion or want to transfer to another state, that's the first thing they look at is your attendance. They want to see if you're reliable. So I don't play around. I never mess around with getting to work. I don't play with my money. And I'm running to work. I'm like, I got my bag on. I strapped it down tight. That like checking my watch. I'm like doing this. I got on my work uniform. So anybody with common sense knows she's obviously running late for work, right? Now, these 3 guys, they had long beards. They had 3 white guys. They had on plaid shirts and like hiking boots. And, you know, they're leaving the airport and I'm running. Now, this was right after the first presidential debate. I don't know if you saw it, but right after the first presidential debate. And I'm running really fast. And they yell out to me, run, practice. You're going to need practice. Now, in my mind, I'm running so fast that the only thing I'm thinking about is I got to get to this time clock before I'm late. Mind you, I got like 4 minutes. And they yell out to me that I need to run because I'm going to need practice.
What does that even mean?
Now, yes, I don't know what that meant, but to me, it meant that you're going to need practice because either you'll be getting shot at, right? You're a woman of color. And they laughed. They thought this was funny. They thought it was funny. But I was so upset that I wanted to break down and cry. But all I could think about was, if my grandmother and her generation made it through the 60s, which was a horrible time, you know, that's when Martin Luther King was running the civil rights movement. If they could make it through that, I should be able to let those comments roll off my back and keep moving, right? I got to be stronger than to allow that to make me cry. So I held those tears in, and I did not want to give the situation that much energy to cry about it, but I was upset and I was hurt. And this was right after, you know, the moderator during the presidential debate said, ask Trump to denounce white supremacy, and he wouldn't do it. What he told them was to stand down and stand by. I'm saying it right. So my feelings were hurt. So hurt. And all I thought was, little boy that's darker than me, right? He's a darker skin complexion than me. And I was like, if my son was running by, if y'all said it to me, and I'm a woman, What would you guys have said to my son? What would y'all have said to him? So I'm afraid for my son. And it makes me angry to know that these white guys had the audacity to say this out loud. And there were other people around. They weren't afraid or ashamed. They're out with the racism. It's okay to them. They don't suffer any consequences from the things that they do or say to others. And I'm all about, I looked up white supremacy because I wanted to know what it really was, right? I don't want to just go off of what I grew up knowing it was. I wanted to really look and do some research. And they believe in the betterment of white people, right? So I'm all for that because I believe in the betterment of black people. In the betterment of black people, whatever's going to help black people move forward, I believe in that. So I get it. You can be about your race and want your race to do better than everybody else. I get it. The difference is that black people and other races aren't being mean and hurtful to other races because of it, right? Black people believe in the betterment of our race, but we aren't being racist to others, nasty, or want to kill others because of it. You can be pro-black without wanting to see death or harm to other races. Or white supremacists are different. Racist white supremacists. I don't even know if I'm using the correct term, but I don't think that it's okay to be racist to other people. After that experience, it's really my outlook is just different now. It's just hurtful.
Do you feel hurt or do you also feel hateful? Think about this. Where does it take you? And also, do you feel defeated or do you feel like there could be a way to go over this? What's the other side of this?
We've been fighting this fight for generations. I want to be positive and I want to be hopeful and say that this will end someday and things will get better. I just haven't seen it. Never seen it. It's 2020. It's 2020. I'm a realist and I don't know if it'll get better. I don't know.
But you're also a fighter.
Really
you're also a fighter. I mean, because if you can jump from a secure job to pick a job that will give you travel and will improve your life and your lifestyle and the life of your son, that says something about you. That talks to your character,
Yeah. I'm trying.
Yeah.
I'm trying.
2020 has been. Oh, he's waking up now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's okay. I'm still with you.
Yeah. So the question is, 2020 has been really insane. Do you feel overwhelmed when you have to deal with all this crap?
Of course. More often than not, of course. It would be one thing if, if I was making the same money that I was, but because I'm making less money, that would stress a person out in itself, right? A lot of moms can't put food on the table or pay their bills. But when you add everything else to that, oh my God, it's like I'm giving myself a talk every morning. Okay, we're going to get up and we're going to do this and we're going to be positive. We're going to get everything done and we're going to keep a good attitude all day. That's a task. Something as small as calling my phone bill company and getting rerouted to caller after caller after caller and nobody being able to help me. That's something that could stress you out. So I have to get up and I have to talk myself through everything like a crazy person. I have to talk to myself and say, you can do this. It's okay. Breathe. Keep moving. We got to keep moving. We got stuff to do. Keep moving. And the only thing I can do is look forward. I'm planning for a trip. I want to go to Africa next month. I have things to do. I got to keep moving. I got to keep planning, keep saving money, keep staying positive.
Why do you want to go to Senegal in particular, by the way?
Well, I have coworkers that are from Senegal. The American school system, they don't really teach us about Africa, right? They don't teach us things. And I honestly really ignorant to what it was like over there. Because I'm going off of what they taught me in school, which was really nothing. But as I got older and going to work and talking to my coworkers, I made friends with people from Africa and they tell me it's nothing like that, like what you think. And they're showing me pictures and they're telling me how the people are and they're telling me how good the food is, okay? And I'm like, teach us that in school. They never taught us that. They teach us that there's no electricity, there's no water, and everybody's poor, and you can't have a good time there because it's like a deserted place. That's what they teach us.
Wow. I live in Nairobi.
How beautiful it is.
Yeah. I live in Nairobi, and it's a beautiful city, but then also we have every tourist attraction, and also just great food, great people. I mean, but then it's true. We even us, we were not taught about our own history. We were taught about all this other history, you know. So,
Right.
Yeah.
Right. They don't teach us. So everything, a lot of what Black people know is because we had to do our own research. We had to do our own research, or there was somebody that felt like it was important enough for us to know. And I can't blame my parents or the people who raised me, because they probably didn't know either.
So in that
They
case,
probably didn't know.
sorry, in that case, how do we get an education? I mean, I know we're out on a tangent here, but how do you get an education? Because if we're not taught, where do we get it?
It's going to take people like my coworkers to, I guess, kind of check people and tell them that, nope, that information is false, or that is not all of the story. It's going to, because that's who started teaching me. They started showing me like the way that they grew up and some of their family members over there. And and I was like, wow, like I never knew. It's going to take people like that form others, or at least spark the conversation so that they'll do further research, because that's what it did for me. Once they sparked the idea, I was like, I got to research this. Not only do I have to research it, I'm going over there to see for myself.
Coming to Africa, what are you looking forward most towards? And also, would you repatriate to Africa and probably, you know, find a place and settle as an American?
I don't know if I would settle there because I'm afraid. I've been here in America my whole life, so I would be afraid, but I would just be afraid to move that far away from my family. So I don't know about that. But what I'm looking forward to most, oh my God, the food has to be at the top of my list. Okay. My coworkers have brought me in like different meals that like their wives have made, and I love it. I gotta go over there for dinner, if nothing else. But I just want to go over there, like, you know, I do my YouTube channel, and I want to go to inform others. I'm not going to be able to make a whole travel guide because I'm sure I won't be there long enough to make a video, like a whole like travel guide about it. But I just want to record my entire experience. And I want others to know that this is nothing like what America teaches us. You know what I mean? I want other people to know that.
What's your YouTube channel and what is it about?
Well, it's Khrys Monet. It's KhrysMonet. And it's just about me being a mom. I do a lot of product reviews. I YouTube every product before buying it because, again, I'm a poor single mom. I don't have money to waste. I need to make sure that stuff works. It's going to work for me. So I do a lot of product reviews, but I initially started the channel to record the memories with my son, right? I always say that if I die before him, I don't want him to lean on anybody's stories about me. Nobody's stories. I want him to be able to see videos and say, this is me and my mom in such and such a country, or this is me and my mom doing this, or can't put your clothes on and you got to get ready for school. I just want him to have those memories. I want him to be able to watch, not lean on pictures or videos I'm seeing him. I want him to see like full on movies almost of him and I, you know, so that was really why I started it. But we travel on there. We had a movie night video, just anything that I feel like is worth recording, I think I'm going to do. But I'm trying to stick to a lot more travel videos. But the pandemic has really threw a monkey wrench in that. By us being so limited, it's harder for me to like make vlogs about traveling, you know, but that's really what I got the channel for. I just wanted to, you know, connect with other single moms and other single moms who think it's hard to travel. It is, you know, but yeah, I just wanted to inspire other single moms. It's not easy being a single mom. So I get on there, I subscribe to other single mom channels. You know, I get ideas from them and I watch them with their kids and I see that like, oh, she's making it, you know, she's still smiling and laughing with her son. I can do that too.
Speaking of single mom and single motherhood, and your son is growing, how do you deal with dating and that kind of thing? Because it's a big challenge for women especially.
Well, I don't. I've tried it. So my motto is I've tried it over the like last 7 years of my son being alive, right? My problem is that I keep everybody away from my son, right? I keep everybody away from my son because I'm raising a boy and I'm so afraid for him to see me like, you know, dating different people And, I don't want him to like form these weird ideas about his mother. I always want there to be a respect, right? So while I was dating, I'm not dating now, but while I was dating, I kept everybody away. If I didn't have a babysitter, you weren't going to see me. You know what I mean? I kept everybody away. I didn't talk to them. My son hasn't seen me with anybody, not even his own dad, because his dad and I split when he was a baby, when he was 6 months old. So now I do have somebody now. So I'm not like dating, and he does know this person and they love each other. But it's still been a challenge with him seeing me with this guy, right? It's a challenge because he's never seen me with anybody. All his life, it's just been me and mommy in his mind. Just been him and I. That's it. But now that he's gotten used to this person, he loves this person as if this guy is his dad. So it ended up working out. And I'm so glad that I waited till I got with the right person before introducing my son, before bringing my son into the picture, Even though it's been a challenge, I have a son. He's very, very jealous, very territorial. He doesn't want me to, and these are his words, to give all of his love away. So he doesn't play about his mother. But like I said, he's grown to love this guy just as much as I do. So we're getting there. We're definitely getting there.
What's the challenge of raising a boy, especially like in America in these times? And even before, what were some of the biggest challenges coming through as a single mother?
Oh, man. I hate to always have this at the top of my list, but I have to be honest, regardless of how it sounds. The biggest challenge for me has been, you're not going to eat all those sausages. I'm going to give you some else. It's the financial part. I think it would be a lot easier if I was receiving help the entire time, if I was receiving more than the minimal help, financial help that I do get, and that's only thanks to the state of Maryland making him contribute. It's a very, very small amount, but it's better than the nothing that I was used to receiving. So I'm trying not to complain, but I think that's the biggest challenge for me as a mom, because if I had the money or the financial support from the other parent, I could buy support, physical support. You know what I mean? I could buy help. I could buy a full-time babysitter. I could pay for that kind of help. You can't have them this morning. You can have them for lunch. But it's really been a challenge with the financial portion. The other challenge is the physical assistance, right? Because a man can go out here and work 2 and 3 jobs to make ends meet. Because 9 times out of 10, the woman is taking care of the kid, or somebody else is raising the child. For mommy, I am the end all be all. I have to do everything, so sometimes I can only work 1 job or 1 part-time job. I don't have the time, or there's not enough hours in a day for me to be a full-time mom and a full-time employee. So it's the financial part, it's the physical support. Those are the challenges. I have been fired twice. I've lost 2 jobs before my job now. I've lost 2 jobs due to the lack of daycare, the lack of physical support. I've lost 2 jobs because of that. And they don't do it in a mean way. It's just the supervisor say, we need somebody that can be here during the scheduled time. You cannot do that. We've got to let you go. Now it's like, man, I don't have a job. How am I going to feed my kid? How am I going to clothe him now?
Interesting.
So that's come from the lack of daycare.
And now that makes me wonder how you managed when he was a toddler and you couldn't do anything for himself and you still needed to work. Oh, by the way, do you need 5 minutes to set him to school? We can take a break if you want to.
No, it's fine. I'm gonna make your breakfast. I'm fine. I'm like multitasking, and it's fine. I do this all the time. I have to multitask. I'm getting his headphones and everything set up now, because he's logging in late for class now.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, but it's fine. We have to multitask like this all the time. It's not a huge deal, I promise. Hold on one second. Hold on 1 second. All right, I'm going to give you your breakfast. Just hold on.
Yeah.
I'm on a call, baby. You gotta hold on. You want a banana?
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay, I can still hear you. I'll give you your sausages and a banana, okay? Are these working?
He's working, but but you're not putting them in life.
Well, can you do it?
Yes.
You do it. Here.
The line of narrative dialogue.
Are they on?
The word dialogue are the words that the characters
They don't sound
say
connected. Are they
in a
connected?
story.
Here, use these while I charge your headphones. Hold on, sir. I'm coming, okay?
Okay, no problem.
Hold on 1 second.
They took power off.
So I'm going to say 3 times.
Why you cut them off?
So that
I'm trying to get them to get.
And then I'm also going to ask you,
They're not.
what is a narrator?
They were on.
I'm going to charge
They're
them.
not connected.
Use those. Pay attention. I need you to participate because you're going to get a grade for participation. What do you want with the sausages? Hurry up. All right, I'm going to make you some eggs. Love you. Okay, I'm back.
Okay, cool. Okay, so I was wondering, just to follow up, when he was a toddler. Oh, by the way, what's the name of your son? Sorry, it's weird.
Oh, Kane.
Okay, so when Kane was a toddler, how did you manage? Because it's hard enough to have a toddler, but then now also to be a single mother and a working woman, great challenges, right? How did you manage?
Yes. So as a toddler, I struggled really, really bad. I was unemployed for a while. But when I did get another job, I was literally like on my knees begging family members. Family members. I don't want to say anybody because I don't trust anybody with my kid. You know, people are nuts. I don't trust anybody. There's crazy people out here. But I was like begging family members and begging people, can you watch them? Can you please, help me? And some people, for instance, I have a family member that's retired. She's retired. She would not watch my kid while I went to work. Some people just don't want to be bothered, so it's hard to find help. I would like beg people and that would last a little while until it didn't last anymore. So I would have to ride the wave while I could, like, oh, I got a little bit of help. Let me try to work during these hours. Or I would sneak my kid to work with me.
Really?
Right? Yes, I had an office job in a hospital. And I remember my dad, and I got the idea because my dad dropped them off early to me one day. And because I worked in an office and the supervisor didn't come often. They weren't there a lot of the time. So my son loves his iPad. He loves video games on his iPad. And I had him, he was like 3 or 4. And I had him sitting under my desk on the video game with headphones in. So he would be quiet.
Oh boy.
I gave him paper. Yeah, I know, right? But I snuck him to work with me a few times, like underneath my desk. The boss wasn't there often and he was really quiet. So I would try to do that. And I think that was a part-time job, so I didn't have to be there long. But yeah, I've had to do that. I've been late countless times. It was a real struggle when he was a toddler. It's a struggle now because he can't stay home by himself. He still needs daycare. So I don't think I'll be out of the woods, so to speak, until he's old enough to stay home by himself.
So, wow. Okay, so and during the pandemic, are daycare open, or how are you managing when you go to work and is at home? And then also because you travel, when you do overnights, how do you manage that?
Oh, well, when I travel, he's with me.
Even for work?
Even for work? No. When I go to work, he goes to the babysitter. He goes to the babysitter when I'm at work. So I have to pay. I'm paying $160 a week right now. $160 US every week.
That's a lot of money.
So yeah, tell me about it. I know. And all I think is, man, that money would be so, give me the butter, would be so beneficial if I didn't have to spend it on childcare.
Yeah.
So beneficial. But I have to do what I have to do. I don't have any other option. If I want to keep my job, I got to pay for daycare. Okay.
Now we've been very gloomy. What are the positives of being a single mother and raising your son and having to travel with him, all that stuff?
Well, the traveling part is fun. Go back to class. The traveling part is a lot of fun, right? Now that he's 7, he understands a lot more. He understands way more. We have conversations. It's a lot of fun. He's like my hangout buddy. He's a lot more fun than traveling with an adult. I'll tell you that, because adults complain. Adults complain. True. He doesn't. He's like happy to be wherever.
Moving forward, what are you looking forward to? What are some of the things that you're excited about? Even as your son grows up, you have a new relationship. What are some of the things that, there's the trip to Africa. What are some of the exciting things that you're really, really excited about?
So, for instance, the holidays are coming up. That's always a lot of fun. Halloween is coming up, even though I don't really care for Halloween. My son does, and, I don't want to deprive him of that. I'm trying to think. Other than the traveling and the holidays, these are just things in like short term that I'm thinking about. Just making it through this year, too. That's really exciting.
I think that's a goal for all of us.
Right. Exactly. The holidays, we got to get a new Christmas tree. That's coming up. So I'll be putting out a lot more content just on those memories that we shared together. But it's a lot of fun. Motherhood is not something I would ever get back. As tough as it is, my life wouldn't be the same. I am happy. I wouldn't trade my son in for $1 trillion. I love being his mom. We really have a good time together, And I think the bond that we have is a little tighter because it is just him and I most of the time. It's just him and I. I don't have any other kids. I have one kid, and it's just the two of us.
And work-wise, what are you looking forward to in the coming days, coming short-term, long-term, that sort of thing?
Like I said, short term, it's just the holidays coming up, traveling, of course. Long term, I do want to transfer to another state. I just want to be financially stable. I want to, not that I'm not now, but I just want everything to continue to grow, continue to get better. My son is healthy. We don't have any major health issues. That's great. I'm grateful for that. I'm just looking forward to great health and a lot of happiness long term.
And also, you've told us about your travels, but you haven't told us some of your best destinations so far. Some of the places you've gone to, and then some of the places you want to go to outside of Africa.
Outside of Africa and the whole world, I want to go to London. I haven't been to Amsterdam yet. I really want to go to Japan. That's big on my list. I want to go to Seoul, Korea. The places that I've already been, this is really my son's fault, but he loves anywhere that there's a beach. Even though I may want to go somewhere really cold, or I may want to go to a city to see a city, he always wants to go to the beach. He loves the water. So we've been to Aruba. We've been to the Bahamas 2 times. Beautiful there, right? We've been in Bahamas. We've been to Argentina. We've been to Aruba. We've been a ton of places locally, like within the U.S. We've been to Puerto Rico, a bunch of states. We've been to Mexico. That was a lot of fun. He loves Mexican food. But so far, those are the only places internationally. Argentina, Aruba, the Bahamas twice, Mexico. Yeah, that's it so far internationally. So I think the goal is just to get as many stamps in our passport as possible.
Out of those places, what was your favorite place to be and why?
Favorite place was Aruba. Oh my God. The food was good. The street food was good, not in the restaurant. The street food was great. I did love the salt water. That was a lot of fun. We stayed in a hotel, was kind of like an apartment. It was set up like an apartment, like an extended stay. So there was a kitchen. I got to cook. I think the flight over there, I was really comfortable. I think that was my favorite travel destination. The people there were really friendly. I just loved it all around. And guess what? It was really cost effective too. It wasn't really expensive. I think we paid $280 or something for the hotel. And this was for a whole week.
Wow.
I rented a car, and it didn't cost a lot of money. I was still able to pay the bills when I got back. So we had a really good time in Aruba. I think Aruba was my favorite place. Yeah, it got to be Aruba. We haven't been to Barbados, which is where I always went as a kid. But that's just because my airline doesn't go there right now. But I mean, the world is at our fingertips. So I plan to see as much as possible,
So the other question would be, what have been some of the challenges, in travel? Oh, sorry, let me rephrase that properly, yeah? What has been some of the challenging places to travel to? Or for example, if you're giving some family that wants to travel, a single mother who wants to travel with their kids, what are some of the things they need to look out for?
Well, I think safety is a big thing. We haven't had any real challenges traveling other than the pandemic and not being able to go everywhere we want to go.
Yeah.
But there hasn't really been a lot of challenges. It really hasn't been. I mean, as a single parent, you could be a father with your kids. A lot of the times you may be a target for people that like to pickpocket or rob because you have a kid and they know that that's your main concern. So you may be distracted because you have a kid with you, but there really hasn't been any challenges. I mean, we have to stay safe here. I think, certain things like just taking particular safety precautions, I would say that, not being flashy, just don't appear as a target,
So what goes into the carry bag when a mother is traveling with their kids? What are the essentials, and then what are the things they need to look out for? And also in terms of, because a lot of people haven't traveled yet, what's the procedure going to the airport? Is there something special that you need to look out for before you get into that?
I have a video on that, and there are a ton of videos on YouTube about that. Like, for instance, you're always going to need the passport. I always take things like baby wipes and Band-Aids and, a really small first aid kit that doesn't have any liquids in it. Just things that your kid is going to need. I will always recommend to pack light. Try to pack as light as possible. Don't overpack because you'll need to be able to carry all of your things, which is why I only travel with backpacks, because I need to be hands-free for safety reasons, right? I don't want to be carrying 17 bags in my arms and then I can't grab my kids, to save them from a bus or whatever, so I carry backpacks so that I'm hands-free. Yeah, I keep all of our important documents in a secret pocket on my backpack. So if somebody wants to come up and try to go in my bag without my knowledge, they can't get my valuables, right? I keep my money safe because without my money, we probably won't make it back home. So it's just certain precautions that you have to take to make sure you and your kid are safe. Going to the airport for the first time, I think a lot of stuff I learned was through trial and error. When we got on the plane for the first time, I did have a lot of stuff. I had the wrong travel bag. It was just a headache trying to keep a toddler from running around and carry all the stuff that I had. It was a headache. So you'll learn through trial and error. But we got YouTube now that gives us literally all the answers.
Yeah, YouTube University, obviously. Yeah.
Yeah. University. I like that.
We'll be having more conversation, obviously. But is there anything you feel I've left out probably to ask, or something you want to plug?
No. I do want people to check out my YouTube channel because it does help me out a lot. But other than that, I just want single moms to feel encouraged, or single parents, single dads. There are dads who take care of their kids by themselves. I just want single parents to stay encouraged and know that there are some real struggles, but we got to keep moving. Stay strong. We got to keep moving. There are a ton of positive things. Like I said, traveling with my son, having a good time. He's very helpful. My son helps me out all the time. I think in his little mind, he feels like he has to take care of me too.
True.
He feels like he has to look out for mommy too. He tries his best to protect me.
Yeah.
I think a guy rolled by and told me I was beautiful and he got so upset. He was so angry.
Yeah.
Because somebody gave me a compliment, but he's really protected. I love that about him. He's really intelligent, really smart for his age, very, very bright. But there are a ton of positive things. It doesn't all suck.
Yeah.
So you just have to find the light. And my light is traveling. That's what makes me happy. That's what keeps us going,
When all of this is done and is grown, I'm flipping the coin to the other side. What do you think he would say about you? Is all grown? What would your son say about you?
That mommy was tough as nails. I would want him to say that. And I think he would say that mommy was pretty damn cool. Mommy was really cool. She wasn't a boring mommy. Mommy liked to have fun, and she always put me first. I want him to be able to say that I always put him before anything in the world. Mommy was a lot of fun. She made my childhood a lot of fun, and she taught me things, and she always told me the truth. I try to make it my business to never lie to my son. If I feel like there's a topic that is too advanced for him or there's something that we shouldn't be talking about, I'll tell him that. This is not the time for that. I'm going to wait till you're a little older, and then we can talk about that. But right now, I don't want you to have to think about those things. You know what I mean? I don't want to ever lie to him. If he asks me something, I want to tell him the truth. You know how a child might say something and it's not really true. It's just in their imagination. And the parent will say, oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't do that. I correct him.
Yeah.
And I say, well, that's not true, baby. Or this is not real. This is what's real. And this is how this works. I try to tell him the truth so that when he speaks, he's intelligent and he actually knows what he's talking. He asks me things that I feel like, why are you asking me this? And why do I need to explain this? But I tell him, you know, he asks me a ton of questions. I tell him the truth. I try to tell him the truth about every subject. If he say, why is the needle on E in the car, not F? And I say, well, this means that the gas tank is empty. And this means that the gas tank is full. You know, even something as small as that. I want him to know what he's talking about when he says it out loud again. So I tell him the truth about everything, which means that he is a little advanced for his age. He probably knows things that he shouldn't know anything about, but he's not behind. I would rather him be a little advanced than naive, you know, and not aware. So I tell him that all people are not good people. Some people are great. Sometimes you can trust people and you can be friendly with certain types of people, but you got to know when people aren't right. When people are asking you to do things you shouldn't be doing, you got to make the best decisions for yourself. What's going to keep you safe? What's going to advance you in life? What's going to make you fall behind? What's going to get you in trouble? So I tell him these things. Don't follow behind all the kids in school. You know, so I always try to be honest with him. So I want him to know that mommy kept put you first. Mommy was a lot of fun. Mommy never lied to me. She's never going to lie to me, even if it hurts his feelings, even if he don't want to hear it, even if it's uncomfortable. I have to be honest with him at all times.
Oh, amazing. A lot can be said, but one thing for sure, you're an amazing mom.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm really trying my best. Thank you.
You're doing well. You're doing well. So there are very few parents who've traveled with their kids and who've done what you've done. So I commend you for that. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. It's amazing. We did this conversation while you are making breakfast for your son.
Yes.
That's amazing. Multitasker, I mean, amazing person. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'd let you have your breakfast and a beautiful day. And thank you for all this conversation, for opening up. I mean, it's not easy to open up, especially to the world and to strangers. It's a crazy world out there.
Yes. But I look forward to visiting. So maybe I'll let you know when we're coming.
Welcome to Nairobi and to Kenya anytime you like. I mean, it's an amazing country. The only issue is if you come, I don't think you'd want to leave. And I can guarantee you, as a Nairobian,
oh my God,
you would never want to leave. So there's that too.
I can believe that. But thank you. I do appreciate the opportunity. I've never done a podcast before, so this is the first. Thank you so much for reaching out. I really appreciate it.
To one of many. So thank you very much. We'll be talking. I think let me let you have breakfast. Good stuff.
All right. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
You too. Bye.
I want to thank you for listening to this conversation. I want to thank Khrys. I want to thank the son Kane. Sorry, we just took all your time and had a long conversation. This was an essential conversation. It's a beautiful conversation. I think her resilience should inspire us. I don't have a lot to say today because I'm just like in amazement still. Thank you for listening. I'm going to link in her YouTube page on the show notes of this podcast. Also remember, I do have another podcast called Kenyan Stories with Daniel Duwa, celebrating icons in our society and celebrating 20 years of storytelling so far. I hope you're well. My name is Daniel Duwa. You're in good company. I think I got it.